Hi, my name's Rebecca and this is my studio. I'm here to teach you all of the things that you never learned from your piano teacher growing up. So I played piano for many years, but was never taught things like composing, sitting down at the piano and making beautiful music through improvisation, and working my way through the circle of fifths. None of that. I was just taught classically how to read music. Now, I believe that all musicians need to strive to learn to read music because it is an important skill, but it's not the only important skill. And I believe that you can make music every time you sit down to practice. And I'm here to show you how to do that. So one of the things that we do in my studio is composition and improvisation. So composing is coming up with melodies and then adding chords to it and creating your own songs, whether with lyrics or without lyrics, that you can come back to. Improvisation is finding a chord progression that you want to use and then being able to play within that chord progression, and then it just creates beautiful music. Improvisation is more like therapy for me, and composition is more like a project that I get to put my stamp on and say, this is something that I created. So one of the things that helps is to learn how to make good melodies. So today I'm here to show you the top 5 things that you need to learn to make good melodies. Then later you can add chords to that and it becomes your song. If you stick around to the end, I will show you some specific exercises on how to create good melodies and get you in the practice of learning how to create awesome music. If learning to make music every time you sit down at the piano is something that interests you, please make sure that you are subscribed. You can hit the bell icon to know when every time that I upload new material, share, comment, all those things help me out.
For the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to be playing in the key of C major because this is the easiest to see and to play in for the beginner because it is only white notes. So the key of C major is between C and C, and I always like to start out with a scale because it teaches your hands which notes to play and which notes not to play. Now you don't have to worry about proper scale fingering, you can just use one finger. So let's start from C to C and play only white notes. And that's the key of C. So our bonus tip here with a good melody is to always begin and end on the note that we have started for our key. So for the key of C, we're going to begin and end on a C. It doesn't have to be the exact same C. We can start here and end here, but that will make our melody sound like it's going to come home. So we're going to do that for every single one of these examples. So the first thing that we want to make sure that we do is to use a limited note range. So for the purpose of our example, we are going to stick within this octave. And I like to stick within an octave because it helps our ears. So I'm going to give you an example of a melody that goes outside of the octave and has very large jumps in it. And I want you to hear how it kind of makes you uncomfortable. It's almost too much for your ear to handle. So this is an example of not using a limited note range. So we did start on C and end on C, but because we were jumping around so much outside of the octave and having huge intervals in between each note, it is more difficult for our ear to process that. Now I want you to listen to a melody that is between C and not going outside of that. We can hear that as a song, and it already helps us to be able to process that with our ear, and it's a better melody already. So you always want to start with a limited note range. Now, you can either choose one of two things. For your note range, you can choose an octave, or you can choose the pentascale. The pentascale is the first 5 notes in C major. So you can stay right here if you don't want your hand to move anywhere and do a melody in here. So it can be something like this. And that is still a good melody, even though it's only within 5 notes instead of the full 8 notes. going along with our note range, for number 2, we want to make sure that we use smaller steps and simpler patterns using a lot of steps and skips. So what steps and skips are simply means that we're going from one note to the next note. Those are steps, and then skips are just skipping a note in between. So really what they're actually called are seconds, 1, 2, and thirds, 1, 2, 3, okay? So we are sticking a lot of seconds and thirds and not so many of the larger intervals. That does not mean that we can never use larger intervals within our limited note range, but you want to have a lot of notes that are close together. So here's an example of using large note ranges only without those steps and skips, and hear how different it sounds than with steps and skips. So it sounds a little bit better than what I did before, where we were really popping around, but now listen to the difference of using a lot of our smaller intervals. That sounds a lot more like a real song. So we're going to stick with those smaller intervals. Now that we have our range and we have our intervals that we're using in between, let's try to focus on some rhythms. So we don't want everything to be the same. When everything is always the same, it's going to be boring. So if we just did quarter notes, which are one beat each, it's like going ta, 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 ta. This is the way a melody would sound with just quarter notes in it. Not horrendous, but it's not terribly exciting either. So now I'm going to use some different rhythms in there, including some eighth notes, some half notes, whole notes, and even some rests. Now listen to the difference. So notice that I used some pauses or rests as well. Rests are just as much part of a melody as the actual notes are, and we can use those silences to our advantage. Here's another example using some rests in including all the other things that we've talked about. Already it's more interesting than when we were just doing the quarter notes. So make sure that you are varying up your rhythm. Our next piece of the puzzle is to add some different elements to make our melody more interesting as well. And those different elements can include using different dynamics, whether that be loud or soft. Loud, playing loudly is going to be just pushing it harder, and pushing softer will make your sound softer. You can alternate between going fast and slow, and you can even do differences in how you play, like legato, which is where we connect all of our notes, or staccato, which is where we think of almost bouncing on the keyboard. So if we vary all of those things, it's going to make a difference in creating something that sounds interesting to listen to. And our last tip for today is to use call and answer techniques. And what I mean is we can make a little phrase and then answer it, almost like an A and a B. Sometimes I have my students do this with two hands, where they will make a question with the right hand and then an answer with the left hand. Let me give you an example of what this can sound like with two hands. So I have my hands in a C major position and the pentascale position. So I'm going to start and do a question with my right hand and an answer with my left hand. So you'll notice how the rhythms weren't the same, but the notes were kind of the same, and the duration of the notes were the same. And so it literally sounds like someone is asking a question and then answering the question. If you're doing that with just one hand, say that you are trying to figure out a melody for your right hand because your left hand is going to come in eventually and play some chords, you can also do this concept with the right hand. And I'll show you this time between an octave with my right hand, and I'm going to still do questions and answers. So here would be the question, and here would be the answer. And here would be the next question and the answer. Question. And here is a specific exercise in the key of C major to work on creating some really cool melodies with your right hand. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to put our hand in a pentascale position so that you have C, D, E, F, and G. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're not going to play the F at all. We're just going to play C, D, E, and G. All you're going to do is to play with some different rhythms and ways to play C, D, E, and G. So let's give it a try. Okay, so after you've tried that a few times, it's pretty easy because you're not moving anywhere and you just have 4 notes to choose from. Then we are going to add our second hand. So your left hand is going to be making some chords in the left. So these are going to be stacked chords, and we're going to start with a C chord, C, E, and G. And then we're going to just move down 2 notes to A and make a stacked chord here. Move down 2 more notes to F, make a stacked chord here, and then up 1. It's a very basic chord progression. All right, so one more time, we've got C, A, F, and G. So we're going to now use just those 3 notes to create a little tiny tune, something like this. Then what you can do is you can take the same exact melody, the same exact notes, try it again, and we're going to try some different rhythms this time. And then we're going to finally add some dynamics and expression. And this time I'm going to also use my pedal because it's going to help. And if you want to do 2 notes at the same time within these 4 notes, you can do that. And the reason that we're only sticking with these 4 is because no matter which 2 that you put down together, they're going to sound good. Okay, so let's give this a try all together. Once you have played with that little 4-finger pattern, we're going to now go within the octave. So this time you get to play between C and C, create a melody with that same exact small chord pattern in the left of the C, A minor, F, and G. All right, so let's try this, and now your hand is going to move just a little bit more. But remember all of the things that we talked about with our melodies. So now you've gained a little bit of confidence, and we're going to now make it a little bit more extensive. Let's give this a try. You can do this as many times as you want to and be as creative as you possibly can be. Try out different ways of expressing yourself. Let's try something that's vastly different this time, that is going to be very staccato and short. And let's see how we can make this same chord progression sound different with a different kind of melody on top. Still beginning and ending on C. Here we go. Totally different. You can try this as many times as possible. If you're interested in working through some different chord progressions, make sure that you're checking out my playlist with different chord progressions in different keys so that you can play and start practicing in different keys.
I hope those were helpful for you. Have fun sitting down at the piano and venture outside of the key of C. Like I said, the key of C is a great place to start because it is all white notes and it seems pretty easy and less intimidating if you're not used to playing the piano that often. If you're interested in learning how to play in all the different keys, check out this playlist that I have linked in my description box below. It talks about going all the way through the circle of fifths. We're going both clockwise and counterclockwise, and it shows us the sharp keys and the flat keys and the major chords and how to play in those keys. But for now, if you just want to stick with the key of C, that's a great place to start to create your good melodies. Have fun practicing.